Hi, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday marketing call. My name's Lee Honish. I am joined by Fred Sullivan. How are you, Fred?
Good morning, Lee. I'm doing good.
Outstanding. And Laurie Neville, quietly behind the computer, who is working on her video. This would be a great opportunity for her to jump on and say, hi, everyone. As always, go to Home Advocates if you're interested in getting involved in our program. We guarantee face-to-face results. Just type in 2 words, Home Advocates, and you will find us. In fact, we are hit so hard by traffic these days that I am now getting people who do backlinks. This is real techie weird crap, but people who do backlinks for other websites requesting to offer to buy to backlink onto pages within our website because of our domain authority. So that's kind of exciting. For a website that was quote unquote per one webmaster, Google's not seeing you, but we're line 1. And I actually said that. Yeah, but it doesn't see you. I go, but we're line 1 of every search for the word Home Advocates, and it's actually a high keyword search. It's kind of a nice payoff now for all the time that I've invested into that website to make sure that all of you that are a part of the program are on page 1, just like that. We're going to cover a couple of things today. One, we are going to cover the Zillow thing we did on Thursday. I want to try to do it a little more clearly and concisely, with a little bit of live participation, certainly because I know Fred wanted to see it. We'll do it one more time from start to finish. I should be able to do it much quicker than the painfully long 45 minutes it took me on Thursday to do it. I do have the video. I just think that it was painfully long. And also, I wanted to cover a close that I found in my archives while I was going through stuff this weekend. And I don't know how many people actually know this. And it's a great close. It's called the Fast, Cheap, Good close. And we'll start right there. It's fast, cheap, and good. If you have a client who's on the fence, now this would go more towards a traditional transaction. It certainly wouldn't go towards a homeowner that's in distress, default, or has missed a payment. This is more directly towards just getting a deal closed. And it does not matter. Real estate, selling pizzas. I tell this to people when it comes to hiring me for marketing, for creating product online. It's called the Fast, Cheap, Good close. And I tend to use it, especially when it comes to a website, or it comes to traffic, or whatever it is that I'm going to provide for that individual. And it certainly works as a script for anybody who has to close a tougher client. And all you have to do is remember fast, cheap, and good. That's it. Fast, cheap, good. Let your client know whatever you're trying to close them on. They can have 2 of those 3: fast, cheap, and good. And hopefully for all of you that are in real estate, this will keep you from the doing the 1% close routine. I'm not opposed to the 1% close, especially if you have access to the buyer's side. But fast, cheap, and good is very simple. All you have to do is remember fast, cheap, good. And when your client's ready and they're getting ready to make a decision to hire you as an agent, or if anybody else is watching this, whatever the transaction is, fast, cheap, good. You can have 2 of those, Mr. and Mrs. Client. That's it. Well, I want it fast and I want it cheap. Well, it won't be very good. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I can do fast and cheap. It just won't be very good. Well, I want cheap and good. Great. It just won't be very fast. That'll take a period of time. Okay. Whatever the combination is, remember the third one. And it's just that simple. So everybody who's on the call, write down fast, cheap, good. I know you're writing it down already, Fred. Fast, cheap, good is great. Yeah, I thought, Miles, I'll just go FCG right out of the gate. Let's do, since on Thursday we did marketing right out of the gate and didn't cover any close. I haven't covered closes in a while, and this is one out of my archives. I don't know where I saw it first. I don't know who wrote it first. I'm not trying to diminish credit to whoever came up with fast, cheap, good, but I think it's been around since the caveman days. I'm sure there was a caveman who walked up to a cave showing off caves to other people, and offering however many rocks it was for that particular cave, and grunted out fast, cheap, or good for me to sell this property for you. It is a very old close. I can't even imagine how old that close is. And everybody, so if it's cheap, they get 2 out of 3, Tina. Okay. They get fast, cheap, or good. So if they want cheap and fast, it won't be good. If they want cheap and good, it won't be fast. Got it? 2 out of 3. Fast, cheap, good. Fast, cheap, good. Just that simple. FCG, as Miles wrote out. I don't know. I really don't know who invented it. I suppose I could do a deep dive on the web, but I was going through older archive videos of stuff that we have online, and I haven't really discussed closing stuff in quite a while. Your feedback, Fred, on FCG?
Not my style, but it doesn't mean that it wouldn't work. But you gotta feel it if you're gonna say it, and if you don't feel it, then it doesn't come across as authentic or true to you. So everything I do is I believe in, and I say it when I believe it. If I don't believe it, I don't say it, and I'll tell people I don't believe it. And then that's how I've always been. It's just a more authentic way to be. But that doesn't mean that people wouldn't feel that. What fast, cheap, good. It's definitely believable, especially.
Well, it does cover it correctly. I know this is a guy who creates actual products or marketing or if I was, the reason I did this, my lovely wife is working on shooting a series of videos, and she wants to go do videos. She likes having notes and scripts in place. And I was going through to see what I had, and I came across the fast, cheap, good close. There was a video in the archive, and I'm sure that I lifted it from somewhere else. I've said it a million times. Good marketers, good trainers, we borrow. It's the amateurs who try to create stuff and claim it as their own. I don't think that there's anything new in scripting or closing or anything for that matter that hasn't been done already, right? So if you're working on, say, creating content on what to say about a new house, I'm positive that there are countless videos and probably how-to videos on how to do that for a topic, or talking about septic systems, or whatever the content is from any part of the transaction. Same for me. I learn a lot by going to networking session and watching where people congregate, right? Right. So if I go to an event and I see that somebody goes, I build websites, and basically everybody goes that way, I want to know what that person said to draw that crowd, when in fact, I know full well building a website isn't all that expensive. It isn't really the trick. The trick is getting people on that website. It's a huge deal.
That reminds me, Lee, I'll never forget this image in my entire life, because it was one of the funniest moments, and you'll laugh when I tell you about it. I remember we were invited to Linda Pelagis's investor workshop,
Sure.
and we were just outside of Pasadena in an Asian area. I forget the name of it.
Alhambra, probably, or San Marino, as I recall. Yeah, one or the other.
I think it was San Marino. And
Yeah,
we were at like a Hilton hotel there, and she had rented out all these rooms for all these investors. And we were giving out a free seminar to whatever we were talking about. And I have never seen so many people conjure up around, and like it was like a mob. It was, I don't know, there must have been about 30 people around you, and we were giving out little passes, or maybe it was my buddy at my office, somebody, but all I remember is just seeing everybody go back to the end of the room. I said, we only have a limited amount of passes, blah, blah, blah. And everybody ran like, oh, it was crazy. I've never seen
the limited availability offer, the oldest
Yeah.
one in the book, right? So I openly say I am a Joel Bauer disciple. And Joel Bauer is, for those of you who don't know, Joel Bauer is the guy who teaches speakers how to speak. And perhaps we'll do that sometime this week, covering, I don't think that there's a topic you could give me where I don't think that I mean, related to things I know about, but I could do a 3-minute video or a 5-minute talk or a 10-minute talk on just about any subject in real time, probably even based on real-time things happening in today's market. And again, I think that's important. Everything is going to video. I want to make this clear. I had this epiphany last week. Everything is going to video. This isn't even a debate at this point. Like it's a very real thing right now, Fred. I'm taking my boxing program away from broadcast and I'm moving it to video, completely to video. It isn't to say I'm not going to continue a podcast. There's no money in it. There's no future in podcasting anymore. So in my 10 years of sort of doing this and creating content, we've gone from it's all blogs to it's all podcasts. And now we're going to all video. The question would be, what comes after video? And I think, I wonder if it's not virtual or if it isn't something like the metaverse or something like that, but I don't know. I don't know what the next generation of content creation is going to be. And that's going to be the trick, finding out what that newest jump is. But now it's video right now.
It always has been video, Lee. It's just people are now catching on to it because.
Well, I think it has more credibility now. I think everybody's kind of picked up on, from a marketing standpoint, oh, wow, there really isn't any media. It's just people who create content. That's right.
Well, I've actually experienced that. And I'll tell you how I experienced that. I would have an event I would promote it on our radio station. We would have an event and we would get people to show up because it was being promoted and because I was talking about it and explaining what we were going to discuss and that I was going to be there. And so people would show up because they would show up, and we would normally get a room of about anywhere from 50 to 100 people consistently and religiously, whatever we were talking about. Then what happened was, as soon as you get in front of the audience, it is so much different than talking on the radio, because the radio gives you credibility. But speaking in front of an audience builds trust, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So
if I didn't have live speaking, I wouldn't have a coaching group. I've seen video of myself, and the toughest thing, and I figured, I say this to everybody, the biggest holdup for people creating video content is you've got to be able to watch yourself. You got to be able to edit yourself, and you got to be brave about doing both and learning on the fly. Tina's too funny. Don't look. There's no way around it. And you've got to be able to self-edit hard. I don't have a problem with that when I'm really cutting up video that's including myself. And I really learned this by creating different kinds of content. I can shoot 15 minutes of content for me doing something. and go, this is the only 3 minutes that matters, and letting the other end of that go. And that's difficult. That's really difficult. I think Michelle Obama was on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. They only used 6 minutes of that video. How do you make that call? Right? So you have to learn that skill to self-edit and go, this is the best of the best of the best. And I would say this for anybody creating content: learn how to speak live. Learning how to speak live converts here. I think I have a bigger problem in front of a camera than I do in front of a room, if that makes any sense. I'm better in front of a room than I am in front of a camera. Cameras don't feel real to me. In fact, when I'm doing, I did an interview for my boxing show this weekend. And I went back and watched it. I go, I'm way too overly animated. I'm trying way too hard. I'm leaning back. I'm doing all kinds of things. Or that's what I see. Can I stress this for everybody who creates content? That's what I see. What do the fans see? They see that it's a fun, playful exchange between two people with those crazy questions that I ask. And I have to let it go. Like, it has to leave my hands, and I just have to, cool, I'm walking away from it. Like, if I look and nitpick myself, I think I look too fat. The scratch I have over my eye is too heavy. My script, whatever I'm saying. Yeah, you get caught in that.
So much on that you just said. So a lot of it, unfortunately, comes from our own insecurity. Okay. So what we need to focus on to get over that hump of insecurity and talk about what you feel strongly about. Okay. If you talk about what you feel strongly about, and you know the sky is blue, and you know 2 + 2 is 4, and all you're going to do is go speak about that in front of an audience. I'll give you a perfect example, and I always go back to this and you said about, learning to speak live. Okay, I agree with that so much you have no idea. There's Toastmasters for adults, and for kids, there's speech classes. And we've talked about this, and I wanted my son to be confident. How do you get confident? Speaking in front of people. It's the best, in my opinion. Sports and speaking in front of people is the best way to do that. Okay. So what I wanted was for my son to do that. It goes back to a speech that he gave about the penny. He goes, the penny is a losing proposition. To make a penny costs 2.3 cents. Correct. So for every penny that they make, the government is actually losing money, 1.3 cents, right? So that's why they want to abolish the penny, because it costs more to make it than what it actually is worth. So then you have to take the other side of the argument. These are persuasive speeches, and my son got really good at speaking in front of people, and he was on a speech and debate team. And anything like an acting class or anything where you're talking in front of people is good for kids today, because with social media and all these kids, being insecure because of what their friends say about them, and then they go online and talk about it, and then they think, oh my God, everybody's going to see it. You got to talk about what you feel strongly about. You got to talk about things that you feel strongly about, because if you feel strongly about it, it's going to come across that way when you speak about it, because you have to understand, you speak from which is in your heart.
Right.
If your heart is full of anger, guess what's going to come flying out of your mouth? If your heart is full of contentment and happiness, guess what's going to come out of your mouth? So you got to remember to speak from which is in your heart. And if you do that, you will have less insecurity, and you will feel strongly about what you're saying, and you will want to make your point so strongly that people will listen to it and act on it. And if you do that and you're able to feel that inside your body while you're speaking, guess what? You're going to be better than you think you are. And you got to let people that you trust give you feedback after you're done saying it, so you can watch your own video and always record it and always watch it yourself, so you can watch your own video without cringing. And it goes back to when I first started on the radio. I would cringe when I listened to myself. Now I have no problem with it. Now I'm like, oh, okay, that was good. Oh, I didn't like that. Oh, I could have said that better. So I'm always self-critiquing it. And I'm totally fine with it if I say something that wasn't as good as I should have said it. But to be able to go back and watch your own video and do that without freaking out about it, that's a talent, right?
Well, and that's the double-edged sword, right? I agree with you, and I agree with Antonio. Just do videos, keep doing them until you get better, making them better, and you will fear of doing them. My answer even is further than that, and this is why people don't do them in real estate. There is no immediate gratification of shooting that video. There's, let me repeat that so you can write it down. There is no immediate gratification for shooting a content video or putting a video online. None, zero. It'll happen. No one will ever admit to where they got the idea to call you or how they saw you. And we've covered this about doing marketing for open houses. They're still going to say it's the sign, right? When somebody gives you the call, they're going to say that, yeah, I saw something and I called you. Maybe they'll say they saw it online, but it's a rarity at best. It's tough. It's the agents that don't put content online are going to fail next year, 100%. And let me reiterate that. There is a huge difference between doing a couple of transactions and this is a part-time job and I'm just taking whatever referrals I get my hands on. And I want to close a couple of transactions per month. Okay, if you're going to close a couple of transactions per month, you've got to obey the rule of 3, period. Rule number 1, you've got to do something with your own personal list. You've got to do something referral based. Number 2, you got to be doing direct marketing to create more names on that list. And number 3, you better be creating digital content. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Anybody who tells you there's anything else in real estate for generating new transactions, either side, buyer, seller, in real estate is lying 100%. And I will back that up. And anybody can feel free to send me an email at leehonish@yahoo.com. I still use that as my general email box. I do have lee@honish.io. I don't, whatever. Also, you can text me 858-663-2537. Send me a text. I am more than happy to debate any one of those 3 topics, but if you're going to do 2 or 3 sides to a transaction per month, okay, and be a real player, like top 20, top 30, top 40%, where you're doing a transaction minimum per month. If there is no digital content in your formula, as well as working with your referral list, I might even forgive direct marketing, even though for everybody in our group, you've got a guaranteed method that is fairly fluid that you can adjust and use it for other data types, right?
I like what Antonio said, because I've noticed what Antonio has done, and I like his videos that he does. I even asked him yesterday, can I steal this picture? Because he had something good. I'm like, I'm stealing this one. And he's like, go ahead. So I pay attention to people because I like to see them get better at what they're doing. And I just want to share one with you that worked really good on my timeline. And I had it, this was 4 days ago. And
Okay.
I thought it was really good. And I'm going to do a video on it. but this is 2 or 3 minutes of your life that you'll never get back. But
Hold on. I'll share the screen and we'll go for it. I'm sure I have
okay.
Facebook
Yeah,
up
that's-
somewhere. Of course I do. Of course, it's on my GOAT page. The topic this week on Fight Net Radio, who we were talking about goats. If you guys don't know what a goat is, greatest of all time, but that's very funny to me. I found a boxing goat picture. I was very proud of that. All right, Fred,
Go
what am
down
I looking for?
Want to know how to get your offer accepted 10 to 15% below the current market rate, current market value. 4 days ago.
4 days ago. All right, you got it. 3333333. By the way, here's the other thing about Fred. He's putting up content on a daily basis. That is a thing as well. That's also another thing. There it is with a video.
Yeah, exactly. And click on see more after number 2. Okay. So this is exactly what I've done with clients. And I even texted some of my clients that I remembered that I did this with, and I'm going to get video testimonials from them as well, because they'll remember what I did for them. But so I said, you want to know how to get your offer accepted 10 to 15% below the market value. Okay, here you go. Number 1, you got to write a below market offer. First of all, right? Market conditions. It's a perfect storm for that right now. To write below market offers, like you wouldn't be shocking anybody if you did that in this market. I think everybody can agree with that, right? Number 2, call the listing agent and apologize for the low offer and be really nice about it. And we're not anticipating the seller's going to accept this offer, but if by any chance the property still hasn't sold in the next 30 days, maybe the sellers would consider having a change of heart. Those are my favorite words in life. Having a change of heart. Okay, 4 famous words. Put it on my tombstone. Having a change of heart. But we're not assuming that they will. We're just hoping for that. All right. Number 3, be friendly, be nice. Right. Number 4, show the listing agent the buyer's desktop underwriting approval and that they're ready to go. Look, my buyer's approved. We got it. The desktop approval. We're ready to go when the seller is. Okay. Number 5, be willing to wait up to 30 calendar days after you write any offers. Number 6, write 5 offers on 5 different houses within 30 days. One of them will accept. Mark my words. Number 7, check back with the listing agent in about 30 days. Number 8, find a realtor who feels confident that they can accomplish this goal for you. In other words, just call me, right? Number 9, then I say, you're welcome. Oh, and by the way, interest rates came down a huge today, 0.5%. So I probably wrote that on Friday, 4 days ago. But then I did a little video at the end talking about how the rates came down. And I got a bunch of comments and I got over 200 views. And you know, the crazy thing is, I didn't see I always talk about this, that a lot of people that know you from your past, they may not hit the like button. They may not hit make a comment, but they'll watch your video. I had people that from my fraternity, because I went down to San Diego State this weekend to go watch a football game, and a lot of my fraternity bros from Northern California came down. I hadn't seen some of them in 20 years. But, you know, we stay in contact. We just hadn't seen them. Anyways, long story short, they're like, oh my God, your son's amazing. Like, they knew about my son and they thought they knew about my radio show, and I didn't tell anybody, I mean, I just put it on Facebook, but they don't hit respond. They don't hit like, but they knew. And I knew this is what people do, because, we can follow other people that we know and we can see what's going on in their life. And because there are people that you knew, you're more interested in them because you knew them for so many years, even though you may not have seen each other, but you had Like for us, we were all in the same fraternity at San Diego State. So we just generally pay attention more than you would someone that wasn't in your fraternity or you didn't go to college with and enjoy growing up and having fun together. So understand people are watching your stuff, and it could be grade school friends, it could be neighborhood friends, it could be your next door neighbor from 20 years ago. You never know, but they're watching it. And they'll tell you that when they see you in person, but they may never tell it to you over Facebook. So it's interesting to me.
Well, I go a step further. Let's cover what you actually did here. I mean, I'm sure that took you like 15 takes to make that video, right, Fred?
No,
What?
the first one.
Wait, let me try to be a little more cynical about it. Did you do 15 takes, Fred?
No.
Was it super hard to stand there with your iPhone and flip that thing around and get? I just got the new iPhone. Like, I love shooting with all the different modes on it. It's just, I am geeky on the new iPhone camera personally, but so I'm sure you did 2 or 3 takes, had to use Garage Editor and 12 other different apps, right?
No, I did not.
You're just saying that you went on Facebook Live and just shot a video.
Right.
And by the way, let me give some real inside baseball, as they say. There have been multiple people within the RED program that I have basically said, every time you go out, click on your camera and just shoot a quick 3-minute video. What do you mean? Nobody's going to care about a home inspection. You don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know that about the people on your timeline. You don't know that about the people who follow you. You have to get to a place where you can just turn on Facebook Live and shoot a video. That's the gimmick. Hey, I've got an idea. I was talking about this particular topic, blah, 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 much like you. It just came over you. You just turned it on and you shot. Did you spend hours prepping for this?
No. I just kind of took what people have been talking about, right? I kind of took it and I said, you know what? I'm going to tell people exactly how I do it, because I've done it many, 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 many times. And so I just broke it down. And the whole part of it is being nice and following up in 30 days. Because you're not insulting anyone by doing that. And you
also did 3 of the 3 marketing methods, right? Blogging, audio, and video. You can remove audio if you're going to do video, but you've also included colorful emojis. You actually blogged on top of your video. Like, you did multiple forms of content creation with one piece. If you can incorporate 2 different methods, let's take Tina Hambleton's, I believe she's the one who said it originally, about the layoff of 10,000 people at Meta, or at Amazon, at Amazon. Why wouldn't you shoot a video? Turn on your camera. I know for a fact, because I do RED videos, turn on your camera. And hey, did you know that Amazon just laid off 10,000 employees before the holidays? Here's what I think that means to me. Fill in the blank. That's it. Then grab an article, copy it, paste it, drop it, and put at the very top, did you know Amazon laid off people? Bet you get a few looks at that. Bet you do.
Yeah, that is very, very talented marketing, because everybody knows that Black Friday is coming in a few weeks, right?
I think it's a huge deal. I think that's an easy. I mean, it's so easy that I'm tempted to do it for RED videos this week, personally, because it's low. Just to ask Sarah or Steve or Tina or Walker, right? What does it mean to you in New York, Walker, to hear that Amazon is laying off people right before the holiday season? What does that mean for the economy from your perspective as a New Yorker? Or for Tina Hambleton, what's that mean for you in the Inland Empire? What's that mean for Steve Love in Southern California? Like, it's not a big sale. And by the way, that's my job. And I will more than likely do this anyway, because it is that big a deal. Amazon laying off 10,000 people before they've got Cyber Monday, they've got Black Friday. They're currently doing discounts right now to try to cover and compensate. I already know all these things, right? That's my job as the guy who helps create content for all of you. My tip for anybody who's watching this would be, this is a slam dunk, easy squeezy. This is such an easy content creation. Yeah.
Very good. And one thing that Antonio said, okay, let me just explain. When I first started doing my radio show, I would have it written out word for word. And I was really good at reading what I wrote out word for word and not sound like I was reading it. I got good at that. So it sounded like I was talking. But you know what, Carrie?
We lost Fred. We'll give Fred a second. I always wonder about Fred and what happens to his Wi-Fi at these direct moments where he disappears. Did you hear Bezos tell people not to buy, keep your cash in your pocket? No, but Catherine, that's a great topic. That should be a video. I have completely lost Fred. You guys can hear me and not Fred, right? Like I'm not losing my mind. I'm not the one who disappeared. Right. Thanks, Hallie. There's a difference between hardwire and Wi-Fi in heavy winds, and I know that he has heavy winds, so we'll give him a second. He should be back any second. I should probably check and see what his signal connection strength is. And to the point that he was trying to make, I don't disagree with scripting at the beginning. The point is to get to a place where you've done script. In the original days of me being on radio, I scripted everything. I wrote everything. I wrote prolifically hundreds of pages of content when I was first on radio. My original live presentations were all written meticulously until I got to a place where speaking and recording were second nature. And that's the big deal. And it's going on in our household right now. It's a huge deal right now in our household. And I'm trying to be extremely understanding of my wife, who's trying to get comfortable live, recording herself or being able to, but she wants to start with scripting. And I'm trying to be